From the very start of the internet, people have been getting paid to shock, scare, and stir people up online. But when it comes to the real pioneers of this strange subgenre of the modern media world, there are few people who've set the stage for this unfortunate climate we're in more than Mr. Alex Jones. Over the course of a near 3-decade career, Alex laid the groundwork for any number of chaotic commentators that we see online today, billing himself as a conspiracy theorist who questioned authority at every turn. Beyond that, there's also the outside possibility that he might be certifiably insane, spawning as many memes as he has admirers over the years.
I'll do it. My children aren't going hungry. I will eat your... They had cows that produced human milk. 20 years ago, they had spiders that produced body armor, spider guts, okay? They have human-animal hybrids 30 years ago. They've got giant human tissue farms.
That's where you lose me.
Bull.
Seriously?
That's it right there. Every time I bring up a subject, you know all about it.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
25 years ago that they had human-animal embryos, but they killed them at the embryonic level.
Man, you need to go back to the drawing board.
Even if he descended into self-parody at times, his supporters tolerated all the fits of rage, because above all else, they believed that he was a man of principle. I don't do it for the monetary thing, I do it for the truth. And the monetary thing comes with it because people can tell I'm not reading from a script. I'm not lying like the corporate media on purpose. Through all the controversies and cancellations, his fans stuck by him. More importantly than that, they lined his pockets to the tune of millions. But after aligning with him and weathering all the storms, Alex is now crashing out and turning on his own audience when they dare to question him.
And I got bad stuff to say about Candace, because you go through all the things she said, and when they're not right, it's like, well, I'm allowed to ask questions. And I didn't imply TPUSA killed him. Bullshit. Or if you don't agree that the guy shot Charlie under his arm, or the guy with a bottle of water isn't really a camera gun, or there weren't trap doors and all this stuff, then every time I would say, well, that doesn't look accurate to me. Oh, you're on the payroll of the Jews, is a hoax. The attacks that Trump's involved is the hoax. The attacks that Trump's involved is the hoax. That's not saying Epstein's a hoax. You put that in my mouth. You said that. You used my credibility to claim I'm saying it doesn't exist. You are lying. See? You lie in my name. You.
And if he's not careful, he might just lose their support permanently. It's your boy Luesta, and this is why Alex Jones is finally losing his audience. There's very little chance that you don't know who Alex Jones is by now. But here's a little background on how he became such a polarizing figure in political discourse that made it so he has been kicked off practically as many platforms as there are out here. Born in Rockwell, Texas, he claimed that corrupt police targeted him after he called them out at a school meeting, forcing his family to leave. For years, he stuck to that story, but a CNN deep dive says he was actually beaten up by a fellow football player he had fought before, getting hit in the face with a rake, and needing reconstructive surgery from his dentist's father. In terms of what led to his future career path, he claimed it was shaped by a book called None Dare Call It a Conspiracy by Gary Allen, which introduced him to ideas about globalism, the New World Order, and false flags. Jones first gained attention during the Branch Davidian siege in Waco, then rose on Austin radio by claiming the Oklahoma City bombing was a false flag tied to Waco. Over time, this show became a hit, enabling him to obtain a major following on a regional level.
Hello, caller, you on the air?
Yes, Alex, how you doing?
Pretty good.
I was just kind of curious if it's true that the police can have laser or infrared beams, if you want to call it, and they can project those into your house to basically...
Yeah, the Austin Police Department's, last time I heard, has 20 units with infrared. If you have enough of a heat source in your house, it'll pick up the heat source and show a signature. It's called FLARE. It's infrared or heat signature. Black helicopters are being used for surveillance of the public by sheriff's departments and police departments around the country.
But once the station realized that his theories were scaring off potential and current advertisers, he lost his job in an instant. This birthed the beginning of the InfoWars era, the self-governed site that made his name, and essentially created a legend out of Alex in some circles. This is Alex Jones over 24 years ago. In under a minute, he covers the globalist agenda, cashless society, open borders, socialized healthcare, and global pandemics.
Yes, there have been oligarchies throughout history, and yes, today in 2002, there is a tyrannical organization calling itself the New World Order, pushing for worldwide government, a cashless society, open borders, total and complete tyranny. And by creating open borders where there's no national sovereignty and only global bodies that control all the resources, by centralizing and socializing health care, the state becomes God, basically, when it comes to your health. And then by releasing diseases and viruses and plagues upon us, we then basically get shoved.
And from there, he set the stage to build his own legend. But in doing so, Jones also created the pathway for it to be destroyed that he's now in danger of falling victim to. Ever since InfoWars opened its doors in 1999, Alex Jones has been preaching to his own self-made choir. Granted, he does step out of his bubble from time to time, usually in debates when he's the aggressor.
So the Bush administration was part of a conspiracy.
Well, he should never let us tolerate
to murder.
I can speak in this accent as well.
Yeah.
The
But is that what you
government
believe?
firebombed his own Reichstag piece to bring in martial law in Germany, April 27th, 1933. Governments have staged terror attacks throughout history or allowed terrorists to attack as a pretext to invade and enslave the populations. I probably own more than 50 firearms. Many of them have increased in value 2, 3, or even 4 times. I sleep very comfortably outside Austin, Texas, knowing that I can defend my family.
Okay, Alex Jones, this is
Infowars.com.
This is the man who wants to deport me from the country for wanting to get rid of
it's to point out you're a foreigner, a red coat, here telling us what to do.
Whatever.
Go back to where they took the guns if you don't like it. The communist...
And if you think that was bad, there are times where he gets rage baited and it leads to straight up carnage.
Who would campaign for that?
They fucking did it,
That is
Bravo,
the craziest
and
shit
you
ever.
can't fucking admit they're fucking killing already born kids, so you're telling me it isn't real when they had a fucking vote in the goddamn fucking Senate.
That's
What
a
the
conspiracy
fuck?
theory.
I am ready to beat your
That's a
fucking ass.
conspiracy
You
theory.
think you're fucking tough, you're about to get it. Bullshit! They're killing already born babies. Stop fucking lying. God fucking damn it. I'm getting pissed now.
Don't get pissed. Go.
No, I mean,
Okay.
you saw the dude. It's
He
going
didn't see it.
fucking with you.
Alex,
was fucking with you.
fucking Senate voted kill babies
Let me-
out of their fucking bars.
Hey,
I
Alex,
was just playing with you.
Eddie,
Of course I believe that,
Eddie,
Alex.
Eddie,
Do you-
let me explain.
Of course I believe.
Eddie,
It's
let me
all over
explain.
the news.
Eddie,
I was just playing with
Eddie,
you.
let me explain to you. Let me explain to you. We went into a long conversation
I
about
heard
that.
it.
We played.
I heard it.
Okay, you heard it.
I heard the whole podcast.
Among his supporters, there is a belief that he actually predicted 9/11.
Wednesday, July 25th, 2001 broadcast. Tyranny is enveloping the globe, and the United States is a shining jewel the globalists want to bring down, and they will use terrorism as the pretext to get it done. So that's coming up in the second half of the show. Very important information. I'm going to put the call out that you call the White House and tell them, look, we've seen the news stories that you've wanted to blow things up, that you have blown things up, and that you're saying that 4 million of us are going to die and we need martial law and the Associated Press at one of your little drills you had. We know who to blame. Point is, if any terrorism comes, it's from this government. And if there was an outside threat like a bin Laden, who was a known CIA asset in the 80s, running the Mujahideen war, and whose family builds all the military bases over in Saudi Arabia right now, and sits on the board of Iridium Satellite.
In fact, he's still applauded for it to this day by some of his admirers.
So you're pretty famous, not famous enough for seeing events in some detail ahead of time. You're the only person, I think, in the world who called 9/11 in detail. You're on tape doing it. They're going to fly planes in the World Trade Centers and blame bin Laden. That's what you said.
Although he was active during Bush's time in power, things really ramped up with the Obama administration. Because there was a lot of anger building up among everyday Americans, Alex used it to push his conspiracy theories to a whole new level. We could be here all day, so here's just one of the things that he helped to popularize.
The question is, who is Michelle Obama? Is she really a woman? Is she a man? Especially when every time I look at Michelle or Michael Obama, the first lady or the first tranny, every time I look at them, something doesn't look right. She doesn't look like any black woman or any woman I've ever known. She's got shoulders that are wider than a man's, which physiologically doesn't happen. Again, you can put 3 heads on a man's shoulders and only 2 heads on a woman's shoulders. That's a known anatomy. And then women generally have wider hips than men do. And you look at her arms and the rest of it, when she's standing straight on, she looks like no woman I have ever seen.
Once again, this was music to the ears of his supporters, but where he lost some of his more casual fan base came when he zoned in on the Sandy Hook massacre. If you're not familiar or are too young to remember, this is when 20-year-old Adam Lanza killed 26 people at an elementary school in Connecticut in 2012. The victims were 20 children between 6 and 7 years old, as well as 6 adult staff members. When it first happened, Alex claimed that the tragedy was fake, calling it a hoax, which really fit the conspiracy world he had already built around false flags, distrust of the media, and gun politics. And he kept pushing that story for years as it helped him grow his brand and make him more money. Eventually, it became something that he'd have to defend in court in years to come.
I don't know exactly what's going on, but the official story isn't true. And so the preponderance, I thought they had some scripting early on to exacerbate and milk the crisis.
Do you understand now that it was absolutely irresponsible of you to do?
It was, especially since I've met the parents, and it's 100% real, as I said on the radio yesterday, and as I said here yesterday, it's 100% real, and the media still ran with lies that I was saying it wasn't real on air yesterday. It's incredible. They won't let me take it back.
These statements were the grounds for many lawsuits over time, tying Jones up in many legal knots, while his reputation created a very tough life for his kids.
Got a lot of teacher hate. I had a teacher in junior year who I came into the class and there were only like 20 kids in the class, right? And they're all watching the TV and it's like a World War II presentation, but it's on Stukelnacht, the Night of Broken Glass, right?
Okay.
So he's giving this presentation and he pauses it and he goes, and this is what's happening at the border with Trump. And you, just like your father, are a Nazi.
No, he did. Are you?
Now, little known fact, and I'm going to out both of us here a little bit. I'm more Jewish than Alex Stein.
That is true. Oh my God, they're going to clip that.
My mother is Jewish. Alex Stein's dad is Jewish, which makes him a fake and a fraud and makes me the real.
You are the
Mitch.
real Jew.
Initially, Alex refused to even recognize the court, claiming that this was a battle for free speech.
I didn't say Parkland was fake. I didn't say Uvalde was. And no, okay, so that's a fact.
What did you say about Aurora?
Objection.
What, before this?
What did you say about
I believe it was a real shooting, but he was in a mind control program, just like Theodore Kaczynski. Sorry.
Are you objecting to your client's answers, Attorney Pattis?
Both the answers and the questions. This is a courtroom, not a trial.
So here's what I'll tell you, Mr. Burke.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
You're in a court of law. You have to follow the rules as the attorneys do or officers of the court, and they are accountable to me, and I will deal with them. However,
and as the case continued, much of it was defined by Jones having typically heated arguments with the prosecutor.
You have families in this courtroom here that lost children, sisters, wives, moms.
Is this a struggle session? Are we in China? I've already said I'm sorry hundreds of times, and I'm done saying I'm sorry. I didn't generate this. I wasn't the first person to say it. American gun owners didn't like being blamed for this, as the left did, so we rejected it mentally and said it must not be true. But I legitimately thought it might have been staged, and I stand by that, and I don't apologize for it. And no, okay, so that's a fact.
What did you say about Aurora?
Objection.
What, before this?
What did you say about Aurora?
I believe it was a real shooting, but he was in a mind control program, just like Theodore Kaczynski. Sorry. I never intentionally tried to hurt you. I never even said your name until this case came to court. I didn't even really know who you were until a couple years ago when all this started up. The internet had a lot of questions. I had questions. And over that 6-7 year period before I got sued, or 6-year period, it's clear. You can see the whole progression of us, the few times we covered it, trying to actually find out what happened.
Along the way, the judge Maya Guadagambo repeatedly told him that, you believe everything you say is true, but it isn't. Your beliefs do not make something true. It seems absurd to instruct you again that you must tell me the truth when you testify, but here I am. You must tell me the truth when you testify. This is not your show. In the end, he lost, leading him to be ordered to pay over $1.4 billion in damages before he was deplatformed by YouTube and other outlets such as Stitcher Radio, Facebook, Apple, and Spotify. It was then followed by being banned on Twitter and Periscope. Hell, at this stage, the guy couldn't even have a Pinterest or a LinkedIn. Finally unbanned from Twitter in December of 2023, following Elon Musk's takeover of the platform, Alex kept pushing forward as always on InfoWars, still racking up millions of followers and similarly large sums of cash as he helped to propel forward the MAGA movement. While certain people in control of platforms felt that he was a threat, most everyday people just laughed him off, because by his own admission, he often treated his own rants like over-the-top entertainment.
Look, here's the thing.
Fine. Listen,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded. In that. No.
That's going to be a soundbite.
However, people like Michael Edison Hayden claim that brushing him off as a joke just hides how dangerous he really is. He is an amusing carnival barker, so we kind of ignore many of the things that are staring at us right in the face about how hateful he is. He has probably done more to further the cause of hate in this country than almost anyone outside of Donald Trump himself. If he carried on just like this, Alex's position might have remained as solidified as ever. Instead, his behavior in recent years has created doubt in his audience's mind that he's remained as proudly unfiltered and unshakable in his principles as he once was. Because where he used to have hardline stances, the shift to grayer areas has caused nothing but conflict with his fans, and now it's coming to a head. If you had to ask a casual viewer of Alex Jones what his main talking points were, being more critical of Israel and Jewish people specifically would certainly be one of them. Over the years, this was definitely true at one point.
Working with Israel to oppress the people of the planet. Israel loves it. That Nazi Sharon has invaded the West Bank. They're slaughtering innocent people. And I'm sick of worshiping Israel. Did you know back in the 1960s they USS Liberty knowing it was one of our ships because it caught the radio chatter of them thousands of Palestinian children during that invasion, and they torpedoed it as they begged for hours on the radio, and LBJ sat there in 63 and let them do it. Israel calls the Palestinians goyim or cattle or dogs or subhuman. They keep them on concentration camps. I got video of them taking Palestinian women's tomatoes they grow and breaking their water containers and stealing. That's why you have this crap. And our children are going to die. We're going to get nuked because of this. Iran's got the nukes now. Syria.
This has been a recurring thread over the years, with people even crunching the data to depict his obsession. I analyzed 20,000 hours of Alex Jones recordings to get the number of times he had said fuck or Jews every year from 1997 to 2024. Sure enough, he mentioned people of the Jewish faith a lot more than he said his favorite curse word. During the ongoing genocide in Palestine, he even went off on Netanyahu and his family directly.
I demand Benjamin Netanyahu take 20 Palestinians in his house. And I demand his candy-ass son in Miami suit up in body armor and go to Gaza and fight these people or get the hell out of my world. And I don't say that because I hate Jews. I say that because I'm not a toilet bowl you sit on and shit on. I'm not here to eat your f***ing shit. You f***ing got that?
But in recent years, much of his audience believes that his critique of Israel has been majorly toned down, and he has in fact changed his tune.
You are saying that I hate America. No, I love America, and I love world peace, and I'm not against Israel, and they're not going anywhere with nuclear weapons, so everybody better forget about that. Anybody trying to destroy Israel is going to try to start a nuclear war. I'm against it, okay? So that's the reality, and I actually have real politique. I study all the issues, and this is out of control, and it's too dangerous.
Actually, this is now such an ongoing thing that there are even videos on YouTube entitled Alex Jones Chilling for Israel.
How I'm a Russian agent or I'm an Israeli agent. If you want to get to topics of why you don't like Israel or why you do, that's fine. I'm just not going to do you're a Vatican agent, you're a Russian agent, you're a Jewish agent. I've already heard it all. I'm an agent of the Republic, of prosperity, of justice. That's what I stand for. I built this myself with the listeners. I know people that live in their mother's basements can't believe that anybody could actually do something on their own, but I believe in you. So you have free speech. We don't screen your calls, but I'm not going to sit here and hear the mental illness. Okay, if you want to say something bad about Israel or good, that's fine. My point is, I'm an honorable person.
And over the years, it's become clear that he really doesn't like being called out on it.
I never had any success myself. Jews gave me everything I've got. Hell, they're so deceptive, they'll even take that clip and say I admitted it because they're failures and they want to claim somebody else was given what they got. Really, I've had the ADL people attacking me and trying to get me shut off the air. That's really what's been going on. And they've had some success. I've been thrown off quite a few stations. It's just weird to be attacked by the leftist Jewish lobby and then to be attacked by the white supremacist lobby.
After years of seeing him as the voice of the people, this was enough to worry his fans. Now, the fact that he's pushing back on certain Israel-related topics is really setting off alarm bells. One recent example came after the fatal mass shooting at Australia's Bondi Beach during a Hanukkah celebration, which left 15 victims aged 10 to 87 dead, while injuring 40 others. As always, the internet sought to peer below the surface, and some suggested that it was a ruse perpetrated by Israel to drum up sympathy for the country at a time of very justified bad press. But despite being the basis of his whole brand, and him teaching people to think this way, Alex wasn't playing this game.
Like, if I cover a nuclear reactor that's melted down, people say, why are you covering up for Jews? Because we can only talk about Jews, not a nuclear reactor melting down. I cover the Jews, but I don't have to sit here and prove myself to you. And a lot of you people out there don't have any real grasp or depth of history. Like, why are you covering up for Jews? Or, oh man, this hurricane sure devastated this area. Please donate. Jews. You know, look, the Muslim Brotherhood is celebrating the murder of all these Jews. Why do you care about them Jews? Well, A, I don't want to kill the Jews. And B, the Muslims want to kill all the Christians too, you dumbasses. I don't want a heart attack, and I also don't want cancer. See, it's like, you understand that, right? Like, I don't want to eat dog shit or cat shit. You understand, right? You can get that in your head. But the Muslims are funding a lot of this Israel obsession, that Israel is in total control of everything, including what time you have a bowel movement. Look at the universities, look at Soros, look at it, you idiots.
And not only was the response from his fans immediate, but brutal. Bro, you literally said Sandy Hook was a false flag. Now an actual false flag has happened by the death cult you'd been preaching about for 30 years, and then you crumble like a bitch. If it were purely issues surrounding his pivot towards Zionism that sparked concerns, Alex might not be under quite as much fire as he is right now. Instead, he's also facing his entire image being destroyed because of the way he's backpedaled about the Epstein files. Just like most right-wing commentators, Alex was demanding the release of these documents that the Trump administration initially promised that they would reveal. But soon, Donald's FBI claimed that there was no credible evidence, and that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals as part of his actions. We did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. Right off the bat, everyone was baffled by how they could think the US public was so collectively stupid.
Also, they promised the list. You can't promise the list and go, guys, what are you worried about this list we promised you guys?
I know, it's also so funny how clearly they got the list and went, guys, who even cares? Like, they obviously the whole time leading up to it were like, Dad, we're gonna get that list, and then one day they were like, what are we even talking about?
Also, you get the list and you go, me 7 times?
Me again? Son of a...
Initially, Jones was among them, appearing to be beside himself to the point of being physically sick.
So now, by coming in and being part of the cover-up, the Trump administration has become part of it. I mean, it's just, you cannot see it any other way. So I just got to the office. I'm going to go throw up, actually. And this only happens every few years when something really, really bad happens or something. I mean, I'm physically going to puke probably right now. My mouth is watering right now. Because I have integrity.
But before long, something changed which had his listeners scratching their heads. Without warning, he pivoted to a money laundering narrative, rather than the abuses that were at the core of it all from the start.
My loyalty is to the truth. I'm actually autistic about it. I can't, even if I want Trump to succeed and Democrats are my sworn enemy trying to put me in prison, I'm just like having to report this, that this is beyond insane.
Yeah.
And it's like Trump blowing his feet off with a 12-gauge shotgun.
Well, we know that this was not only a blackmail operation, but it was also a money laundering operation. And we know that Jeffrey Epstein was working for billionaires like Les Wexner and many others. And we know that there's been a lot of talk about the connections that Epstein had to intelligence and moving money around the world, making sums of money disappear. Is it a complete coincidence?
And in interviews such as this one with Tim Dillon, he pointed the fingers at anyone but the president.
That it is Trump, but it's people in his administration, including a top financial advisor that's heavily involved. Trump wants to get his agenda through of jobs, $15 trillion investment coming in, $3 trillion already here. He wants to stop World War III. I'm not defending this. I'm saying the thinking, I've been told.
Yeah.
Just say, you brought it out. You're smart to figure it out. Nobody else was. I'm sure it's true.
Yeah.
They're blackmailing him with Ludnick. I've confirmed that from the FBI. And it's not that Ludnick did anything wrong, but yeah.
And then he delved into some classic Jones territory on behalf of the deep state.
they're going to probably drop a dime on themselves. Not that my whistleblower was bad. They're going to drop a dime. Oh, we've really got the real file. So Trump's like, yeah, go get it. Grab it. Get them. They get the file. And then I talked to FBI sources, multiple ones, Carl Seraph and others, showed me the text messages. This is in late March, days after. That indeed, the way the FBI works, the top of the FBI does do investigations. They get the truckloads out of New York. They send it all over the country to field offices and say, do what you want.
Even as many of his fellow commentators begin to turn on the president over the Epstein issue, Alex insists any speculation around Donald's involvement is a hoax, combating anyone who says that he was involved. But when asked why, it doesn't seem like he has any definitive proof to say that isn't the case. He just can't accept that because he has too much riding on the Trump train.
I was trying to get him course correct because he's the ship I'm on, and if he goes down, we have all got a big problem, Cupcake. You know what skin in the game is, sweetheart? You got people trying to put you in prison and kill you? No, you don't. I'm not mad at you. I'm just in general, all you people are not on the front lines of this war for decade after decade after decade trying to save humanity. And then you always misrepresent everything to make yourself feel powerful. That's pathetic. You need to grow up. You need to get right with God. So there's that. Unbelievable. It is a hoax that Trump was screwing up his girls. That's the hoax. That's the hoax. Not Epstein. The attacks on Trump that he was involved are a hoax. You understand? The attacks on Trump that he's involved is a hoax. The attacks that Trump's involved is the hoax. The attacks that Trump's involved is the hoax. That's not saying Epstein's a hoax. You put that in my mouth.
It's due to this massive pivot that people wonder if he actually believes this, or if he's really trying to save himself and ensure that he didn't dedicate years of his life to a lie. After all, it's a pretty big shift from 2019, when leaked video revealed that he wished he'd never got involved with Trump.
Part of me, the selfish part, wishes I'd never met Donald Trump, wishes that I'd never met Roger Stone, because unlike previous things I'd done that were game-changing, those were just time-space continuum reflections of the third big change I was going to be involved in, and that was bringing Donald John Trump into Austin. So I'm going to say that again. I said Austin into office. Because you guys are actually really good questions. This is going to be a really good thing, but I'm going to say it again in a minute. Let me drink some of this Armani. I'll try to say it. Because it's the truth, and I'm just going to say it, that I wish I never would have met Trump. I wish it never would have happened. And it's not that the attacks that I've been through. I'm so sick of Donald Trump, man. God, I'm sick of him.
The latest release did not help. Under the Epstein Files Transparency Act, Trump's Justice Department was required to release the files. But what came out was extremely limited, with much of it withheld or actively redacted under claims of protecting investigations, national security, and victims. So the question is, with so much left shielded from the public view, which one is it? With Alex regularly referring to Trump as the lifeboat that keeps him out of jail and afloat, it's really no surprise that Alex really isn't handling all the infighting from the right-wing media space very well, because at this point, it might be threatening to party ahead of 2026 midterm elections. One notable incident that sent Alex into a frenzy was the loss of his longtime co-host Owen Schroyer from the InfoWars in favor of a new show of his own. In a 5-hour-long video, Schroyer claimed that they had issues over Trump, among others.
Alex had been coming into my show and talking about how I'm negative and calling me a pessimist and all this other stuff, which is fine. You work for Alex, you're going to get hit with it a lot. Alex is not easy to work for, and that's fine, that's okay. But okay, he says I'm too negative, he says I'm a pessimist, whatever, I'm too anti-Trump. So I just said, all right, you know what? I'll just take some time off, I'll just disappear, and if Alex thinks I'm too negative, then maybe he's right. The same issues that I had started up immediately as soon as I came back. And it's not to say that I didn't have creative control over the InfoWars war room, but I mean, imagine it's like somebody staring over your back 24/7. And so every single day that I came back, it was either a guest that I was told I had on at the last minute, or it was, him coming into the studio. He wants me to cover this. He wants me to cover that, or I have to host his show for him because he's not in. So there's nothing consistent for me.
And from the time the video went live, he received support from his listeners. But for Alex, this sparked a borderline psychotic episode. First up, he began by gate crashing the American Journal set to let him know what was coming.
On the air, when I go on the air, I'm letting you have it, Schroyer. You stabbed your brother in this operation in the back, and you're a liar.
I didn't realize how upset you were.
It's totally normal to go and do innuendo that you've been censored and controlled and gotta go because you're talking bad about Trump and this stuff. And then later, hours later, go, oh no, he didn't censor me. All set up to boost himself off of lying about me.
Before voyaging on to his own show and pretty much losing it.
I guess I am the smartest. I am the best. I am the fastest. You are a snake. You are a rat. You are a fraud. You are a backstabber. You are a handbiter. You are a disgrace. I'm in a total commitment against evil. I'm pouring out my guts, my soul, my family, everything I've got. I have sworn on the altar of God, total resistance against every form of charity, against the mind of men.
At times, he's dragging his viewers along to this circus, even challenging Ben Shapiro to a live debate.
Ben Shapiro, I challenge you to a debate. I challenge you anywhere, anytime, any place, as long as there is a neutral moderator, and we don't even need a moderator, we can just go at it. Like the Lincoln Douglas debate, I'll go 10 hours with you, sonny boy. In fact, no moderator needed. Let's just get up here at a podium and let's just start going after it. And I'm gonna eat you alive. And you know what? I predict that Ben Shapiro won't take this challenge. And if it gets raised to him, because I'm gonna start beating the drum on this, if he doesn't do it, and I know he won't, he'll say, oh, I'm not going to give him attention. I'm not going to platform him. I'm not going to elevate him. Son, I had a bigger audience than you've ever had when you were in junior high. I have had the biggest, hands down, English-speaking program in the world for at least 2 years, 2016, 2017. I am always in the top 5 English-speaking broadcasters in the world.
But with the exception of Shapiro, it seems like he doesn't need the internet right imploding. Or perhaps more accurately, he can't afford to.
I've just been sitting here and watching and analyzing, and I don't know exactly what's going on both sides, but I smell some really bad stuff. See, it just doesn't feel right. I can get all the clips and play them back to back on all of them. It's going to hurt TPUSA and it's going to hurt Owens, but maybe that'll get you guys to stop it. If I got to come in here and bang your heads into each other, you know what? I'm going whole hog. That's it. If you're going to make me put all this together, then you are all going to get it. Ugh. I hate it. I hate having to know all this. I hate having to research it all. You're robbing my time. Bullshit, man. You understand, if we don't get our shit together, they're gonna put my ass in prison when the Democrats get back in. But no, I do care about the midterms, Candace Owens. You say the midterms, well, I say that.
Among his recent targets has been Candace Owens, over her quest to get to the bottom of Charlie Kirk's passing, with Jones calling out the same kind of fear-mongering and unchecked speculation that he made his career off of.
Erica was sleeping with the vice president, and that the vice president is an Israeli spy, and so he was getting ready to leave her and go against Netanyahu, and so they killed him, and I was there when Netanyahu gave the order. I mean, it's just like total crap. We know the corporate media lies about all the things they've manufactured. We don't want to be like them. We don't want to do that, and they're nice people. You don't have a conspiracy like that coming out of a group like that and interfacing with all these people and then doing something. That's not how it works. That stuff is highly compartmentalized. I'm saying I've gone through this stuff and you know what she's doing. Oh, I've been given by this group the proof of the planes following her for years and all this. We go look at it, it's not the case. You're about to see that. Oh, this person, very credible former military, he just walks into this military base, into this secret room with all these officers, you know, planning the Kirk thing. And I'm like, what?
With Erica and Candace now at war, Alex seems to suggest that a united front is a better idea. But it's hard to ignore that he's clearly concerned for his own well-being.
That's from the NSA and General Flynn. That's the real world. I do have globalists trying to destroy me. I do have people coming to my house. Do I make a big deal about it? No, I don't. I gotta get all my ducks in a row because it's so much. Probably took me 5 hours to collate it all. But you want it someday this week, maybe Wednesday or Thursday, you're gonna get 2 hours.
That said, he has suggested he's worried for Candace's sanity, as if anything she said about the death of Charlie Kirk is more far-fetched than what he had peddled for years.
Just as soon as the whole Egyptian plane thing gets debunked with all the facts, now she's moved to something else, and I'm really worried about her. I'm worried about her and her mind, and I'm also worried about the country and where this is going. It's good to question Charlie Kirk's assassination. I have big questions. We know Cash Patel covered up an investigation into accomplices. I broke that before it hit the mainstream news. So I'm not saying don't question, but her latest source and what she's done, implicating the U.S. military and all this other stuff, is just so damaging. When you go investigate it, it's so crazy.
More recently, he has claimed that her interview with former Staff Sergeant Mitch Snow, in which he claims that he saw 12 colonels in the head of the TPUSA security discussing the murder, holds no weight. And once this seeped out into the world, Alex has received plenty of backlash for trying to minimize the same kind of dissenting voice that he once was, or worse, being on the payroll. For the record, there is absolutely nothing wrong with Candace Owens' mental health. She simply wants to get to the bottom of who killed Charlie Kirk. If you cannot help her with that, Alex Jones, please do. If not, skip the psychiatric evaluation. And to make matters worse, he's done the worst thing that he could by actively replying to the negative comments. How much did Erica and TPUSA pay you? I will never watch your shitty show. I trust Candace. 0. Courtesy of all these changes of heart, many people are trying to work out how he could have been got, basically creating conspiracy theories about a conspiracy theorist. And once again, it comes back to Sandy Hook and the aftermath, which led him to declare bankruptcy in 2022. This came after the InfoWars company raked in $165 million in sales of products he sold on air, such as Doomsday Prep and inefficient vitamins, between September 2015 and December 2018. Because of the figures he was raking in, a New York Times investigation into Jones's financial and legal documents found that he had transferred assets worth millions of dollars outside the reach of creditors as lawsuits from the victims' families, along with court sanctions. This meant that even though he was meant to pay out practically everything he'd ever earned, he looked, on paper at least, as if he couldn't pay it. Sadly for him, a court refused an appeal and left in place his $1.4 billion defamation penalty that was awarded to the family of victims from the 2012 Sandy Hook elementary school shooting. Meanwhile, Jones maintained that the $1.4 billion judgment is an amount that can never be paid, adding that the result is a financial death penalty by fiat imposed on a media defendant whose broadcast reaches millions. And if there was any reason to turn on your own audience or act out of financial interest, it's when you've got that kind of cash settlement to dish out in your future. Alex Jones went bankrupt due to lawsuits. Israel reached out to him and said they'd make him whole on certain occasions. Alex Jones changed the script completely. That's it. Despite the fact that he's spiraling in full view, it's clear that Alex won't go off the airwaves and will rant until there isn't any air left in his lungs.
Oh my God, 12 states have passed euthanasia, basically government forced. No one cares. No one cares. No one cares. Like all these kids cutting their penises off and their breasts off.
The only problem is that if people start tuning out, then it won't ever have the impact it once did. And that will drive Alex nuts. In fact, it already is. Thankfully, I canceled my VIP club this week. You have completely lost me at this point. So I need to believe this guy that has no proof that comes off as a total kook? Sorry, I can't do that. Only time will tell if Alex will be able to get these things back on track. But right now, these instances where it's looking like he's diluting his message is proving to be damaging to his brand. And ultimately, it can only take so much before it all sinks. As always, it's your boy Luesta, live from Lu Extras, and I want to thank y'all for watching today's video. As always, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.